All right, guys. So I finally got around to starting up the podcast. I've been talking about it for so long, but anyway, we're here now. And the first episode, we've managed to get a great guest, Madars Fleminas, who is a former Cage Warriors contender. Has been there for a while now. Beat guys like O'Benelli, George Hardwick, Mick Stanton. But most recently, finished a guy called Daniel Skibinski, and that put him right in line for a title shot. He decided to turn that down in favour of going to try and his hand in KSW, a Polish promotion. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Quick correction to make. At one point I said he was fighting in February. That isn't the case. He's fighting in December on the 16th at KSW 89. He's fighting a guy called Andre Gresbick, I believe. So yeah, if he can get in there and get a good solid win to start off, he's right in title contention. A bit about this podcast, it's sort of going to be a mixture of all things MMA. So for anyone joining for the first time, maybe think about subscribing and see who I get next time. Or for any sort of returning friends and stuff like that. Yeah, thanks, and I hope you enjoy. So without further ado, Madars Fleminas. So hi everybody, welcome back to the Cage Cult podcast. I'm joined today by Madars Fleminas, who is due to make his KSW debut in February. But up until now, you might best know him for his sort of legendary Cage Warriors stint that's filled with sort of these epic battles and knockouts and stuff like that. So I'm glad to have him on today. How are you doing, Madars?
I'm good. Just came back from morning training. And now glad to talk with you.
Yeah, so let's get right back into sort of the big news. You're leaving Cage Warriors. How did that come to be?
Sorry, can you repeat again? It's a little bit laggy.
Oh yeah. So you're leaving Cage Warriors now, after a sort of long stint there. What was behind the decision to finally move on?
So yeah, the Cage Warriors thing was obviously my last fight. Win by KO. That was my last fight on the contract, and I asked for the title. So Cage Warriors obviously offered me the title, but at the same time KSW come with the offer for me to fight for them, and so I tell the Cage Warriors. I got offer from KSW if they're willing to pay me a little bit more for the title fight. They kind of wanted to pay a little bit more, but as soon as the KSW find out, they ready to a little bit bump the money up. So KSW come even with a better offer. So what I couldn't say no. So I end up moving to KSW instead of taking Cage Warriors title. So and Cage Warriors title as well. It's like I say, now for the title fighting the guy who just lost, the guy who I knocked out last time. So
yeah, well, that's the thing. Cage Warriors is really big in the UK and Ireland, but KSW, the further sort of in the east of Europe you get, are huge. They're putting on some really big shows. Like, do you think that KSW, it's just a matter of time before it gets bigger and bigger in the UK and sort of around this area?
Sorry, say again. I just connected to Wi-Fi. It's like the internet is very laggy. I don't know what's happened. Couldn't hear the word.
Yeah. I was just talking about how Cage Warriors is seen as the biggest sort of organisation in Ireland and the UK. But KSW in the sort of east of Europe are huge. They're putting on some really big events. Do you feel like KSW could start making more of an impact maybe in the UK?
I hope that's definitely a big plan for me. I hope they're gonna start moving up more on the UK as well. But it's like the way Cage Warriors working is like they're always playing on the game with from us you can get to UFC, and things like this. But I'm 35-year-old, so I
Yeah,
know the UFC, what kind of fighters they're looking. They're looking for young upcoming fighters. 35 is not the age what they're really looking for. So that title was like, for me, is like more earn money instead of fighting for the title.
yeah, yeah,
And I like I say, and KSW, like you just mentioned, is they're making one of the biggest shows in Europe anyway. 56,000 gates sold out in Poland.
huge.
Like, so if I can fight there in front of 56,000 people, that's like a dreams come true. And yeah, and then again, it's like if I can get in a UFC, I can go straight 10 knockouts in KSW, and I'm gonna end up in a UFC anyway. So that's
Yeah,
not the biggest case what I'm losing there. But at the same time, I got offered good fights here. I can fight in a couple fights because of my success in the last 5 fights in Cage Warriors. I got good good fights in KSW. Was gonna make me, like, how to say, fastest way to the title in there as
yeah,
well, if everything playing out like I want. So I'm in a good position, and I'm happy what they offer me, and I can't wait to just go there out in December and prove it why I'm one of the best in Europe. And I proved that in Cage Warriors by fighting the hardest fights what they offer me.
yeah. Well, sort of looking at your record for people that don't know, George Hardwick, Oban Elliott are two of the guys on your resume that you have wins over. Those guys both get called up to the Contender Series. Do you feel like it is just the age 35 that maybe prevents you from getting the call up to get a shot in
I,
the
I
Contender?
I definitely think is the age is the case. But again, I start quite late MMA myself, so I think that my latest success is because I'm just priming now. Instead of, if I start 20 year young, I probably be priming 30, and that's be my door to the UFC. But where I start only 26, my pro debut was 29, and I'm 35 now, and I feel like now I'm in the prime. I know what I'm doing in the cage. I know how to do it in the
Yeah,
cage. I know where to land the shots and KO the people, and what I'm good at and what I'm bad at. And I find out in the hard way by taking the hardest fights and got some losses on the record to the good guys. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's all play out. I never even think about it being a professional fighter, but the way it's going, and where I going, I'm pretty happy how it's all play out anyway. So
but I mean, it's never say never for the UFC. Chris Curtis, he got called up at 35.
exactly, and you never know, is they gonna come to the Europe, and they will need somebody to fill it up for some welterweight fight. I always be there. I always will be available. So you just go out there and show it. And this again, I got KSW. I got number one in KSW next fight, the guy who is number one in there. So I go out there, show myself, fight for the title, show myself. So everything is possible. Like I say, I never say no, but I know where I am with my age. I know what I'm doing. I want to earn money. I want to be best fighter in Europe, and that's why I'm going for.
Yeah, but a lot of guys like manage to become absolute legends in KSW. Like the world's strongest man, Marius. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his second name. I'm too Scottish to try. Yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, they have some really big superstars over there that maybe a lot of
I,
people don't get to see.
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing there, but they're doing great job by promoting the fighters. So what I think is a big case. What I wanted move to there as well, because like I feel like I never really was pushed in Cage Warriors, even if the fights what I did them, and I never feel like I was the favorite. What's always gonna get
You
promoted.
sort of had to promote yourself through
Yeah, I
your
have to promote
performances.
myself. Where is all another guys who get managed by, obviously, president
Chairman.
of Cage
Yeah.
Warriors got promotion all over the place. So that didn't seem fair to me. So, and KSWs, they're big. They, like I said, they come after me and look like they really wanted me, because I think they thinking about bringing KSW to Latvia as well. So that's a big
Oh,
thing
really?
for me as well. If I can headline show over there. And then, like you say, what they're doing is amazing. All the superstars, what they build up in Poland, all the weigh-ins is like fully attended. All the open workouts is full house. People can watch. People love MMA in there, and I think my style is so excited. I think the Polish ones will just love me there. So I can't wait. Just go there and show them.
But what I really like about the KSW cards as well is if you look through the card, it's really well matched fights. It's guys at like 11-0 versus 9-1, as opposed to your, there's a lot of squash matches in other places where it's 0-4
obviously they
versus
like
10-0.
I know what you're saying, and when they get offer me the number one guy, I see in the comments lots of people saying how this unranked guy can fight with the number one guy, but they all don't realize I'm the title
The
contender
best
in
in Europe for
KSW.
a long time now, yeah. Like,
Exactly, and they're gonna see that on a day when I'm gonna go out there and show myself. And I know the fight is hard, but that's what I want. I want to go there and fight the hardest fight, same like I did in Cage Warriors, and just see where I am and go from there.
But I think one of the first events I ever covered live for a company I was working for, it was your debut against George Hardwick, and you definitely weren't meant to win that. I think you sort of spoiled a lot of people's plans.
That wasn't my first fight. That was my second, I think. Yeah, because
For
I
Cage
fight.
Warriors.
Yeah, on Cage Warriors,
Oh no,
my
yeah,
first.
yeah. Sorry, you went away,
My
had one
first one
other
was
fight, and
Matthew
then
Bonner.
yeah.
I got couple. I fight Matthew Bonner, then I got couple outside of Cage Warriors, and then they signed me for 5 fights. And the first fight was George Hardwick in Birmingham. So yeah, that was a good fight.
Yeah, I think your whole sort of resume since you got to Cage Warriors is either people that have fought for the title in Cage Warriors or ended up going on to fight for a shot at the UFC. I think
all fights was hard. All fights was
yeah,
hard fights, and I never choose the easy road anyway. Like you say, I got a middleweight champ on my record. I got ex middleweight champ on my record. I got lightweight champ on my record. I fight ex UFC fighters, and like there is no easy. I fight the guy who nobody wanted to fight, Jesse Urholin at the time. Same Oban Elliott is young upcoming was coming, and he called to fight me, so I never say no, and I just go out there and perform as best as I can at the time, and it is what it is. And look how I like I say, when I split up with Cage Warriors, uh, between me and matchmaker Ian Dean, I was very thankful for all the fights what he gave me, because I think it built me to the way I am. And the last 5 fights, if you watch my last 5 fights, you can see how I'm being and how good I've been getting. And it's just getting better. I'm not stopped training for last 3-4 years. I've been always in the gym, always grinding, and I'm thankful for Ian Dean to give me them hard fights so I can experience that, and now I can bring that all to KSW. I just wish that all 11 fights they put a little bit more respect on my name by promoting me as well instead of all another guys. But it is what it is, and there is no hard feelings. I hope one day, maybe at the end, when I finish some KSW contract, I get some title fight in Cage Warriors again.
Yeah.
Who knows, because I see that like mixed Anton go away a little bit, come back, fight straight away for the title. So it's all possibilities. And then I'm just here to enjoy the journey,
Yeah. What do you think your hardest fight this far has been?
On Cage Warriors, the hardest
Just
fight
altogether.
altogether. I don't know. It's hard to say. I always say is the amateur fight is what like in my head is just one amateur fight. I think it was third one. I fight some guy from Norway, Samir Zakharovic. So I think that like mentally and physically and everything, what I remember, my cardio always been top of the roof anyway. So I never feel like real danger in any Cage Warriors fight. It's like, I get submitted, but that's not the way you feel like in a danger. You get caught, But that Samir Zahirovic fight is staying me like it wasn't a cage still as well. It was amateur fight, and I don't know. Somehow it feels still till today is my hardest fight ever. So I don't know. It's hard to explain. But in Cage Warriors, I never feel like I always know I got cardio, so as long as I know I got cardio, I know people can't do nothing to me. I always will move and I always will do stuff. So it's not really hard fights there when you all fresh and healthy. Just keep going forward,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I've always found that in training myself. The scariest moments aren't when somebody hits you hard. It's when you know your gas tank's gone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
exactly,
like, this
exactly.
guy
That's
still
when you
looks
start.
okay.
Yeah, then you start shitting because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's it.
So on your opponent, have you sort of been watching much footage and stuff on him? What do you make of him?
Uh, I yeah, my opponent. Like, you mean in KSW? Next one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Andre Grisbick, is it?
yeah. That will be struggle for me as well. Announce them all names when I need to fight them. But
I actually
yeah,
seen him texting my group chat. I'm like, help me, lads. I can't do this name.
yeah, but yeah, I think he's good. I think he's very wild. Wild guy, good grappling. Obviously, black belt in jiu-jitsu. But his choose always strike with the people, and I kind of see his wild striking like more like I was a couple years ago. I was wild striking without just swinging. Where now I more I still I'm very wild, but I'm very technically wild. So that's only difference. And plus, I think they all going in a how to explain that when they go in fight, it seems like they all going without actually the game plan. They go in fight. If I need to wrestle you, I'm gonna wrestle. If I need to grapple, I'm gonna grapple. And if we strike, we just strike, you know. So where I always approach the fight with a little game plan about checking out last first couple minutes, just feeling out, then start put the pressure on tempos, you know, like it's all like in a little game plan every fight for me. So yeah, I think it's just will be the time. Like I feel like if I do what I do good, I just will make him gas and I will go after like I go after everyone in the fights, you know.
I feel like you've caught so many people out just by them not knowing what to expect from you. You know what I mean?
It like people keep watching me. Like I did like the last time I fight. Oban Elliott tweeted is like, and that's explained perfectly. You watching me? You say I watching him now, and I still can't figure it out. You know, and I think
Yeah,
that's the best way to explain it. You can watch and you can do whatever you want till you're not inside with me in a cage. Then you're only gonna feel it. It's the timing of the distance and what I'm doing there. I'm in there, I'm in your face, but I'm really not there. So it's hard to explain. I'm not been working on that. It's just because what comes
who you
natural
are.
for me. I'm just read the distance really well. I need 2 minutes to understand how far I am from your opponent, from my opponent, and I've been like I say, first couple fights in Cage Warriors, I really was scared as well to try. So in the last 5 fights, I'm not being scared. I know I trust my instincts, and it's just clicking, and I start landing a lot more heavier shots. And yeah, it's happy, and I just can't wait to go in there and do the same thing what I did last 5 fights. You know.
Are you still in Grimsby at the minute?
Yeah,
Is
I'm
that
in Grimsby, but I'm training all over the place. Yeah.
right? Yeah. 'Cause for the first sort of while in Cage Warriors, until people realised that you were actually staying in Grimsby, you were always fighting against sort of English fighters in their sort of hometowns and stuff like that. Now you're gonna have to go over to Poland and fight Polish fighters. Is that something you're comfortable with at this point in your career?
Yeah. I always I love when I go to the Italy. You know, travel to Italy when I fight Carlos Pedisoli. I love that vibe. It's just different. Everyone's looking after you. Got interviews. You go and I got a couple Polish friends who training with me, so they're gonna come in the corner helping me with the language. Obviously, I can't speak Polish yet. We'll learn. And I think it's just excited. For me, it's just a journey. I can take my family to Poland. We'll be snowing there. My kids love snow, you know. Will be awesome time. On the end of that, I can punch somebody in the face. What can be better than that, you know?
Yeah. So this has been quite a sort of wild week in combat sports. Like John Jones has just been sidelined for 8 months with injury. Now Tom Aspinall's fighting for the UFC heavyweight title against Pavlovich. But the big news is Francis Ngannou, Tyson Fury. Are you sort of caught up on what happened there? Did you watch the fight or catch any
I watched
highlights?
the fight. Yeah, I watched
Yeah,
the fight, and I like that was the first one I watched with my son, and I tell him watch 2 rounds, and Tyson Fury will run over him. I was
that's
really,
exactly what I said.
I was really critical. Ngannou gonna do well, and I was in shock. I was well surprised. I'm surprised, but at the same time very happy it's happened because it doesn't matter the result. We didn't win, but I think all over MMA that night wins. MMA win that night, and that's what's important for us. We can box. It's not like all these MMA fighters go fighting with Jake Paul and losing.
Yeah,
Is
it's
in
a
Ghana.
different
It's
story.
just nonsense. It's choose the opponents now. Francis Ngannou can strike. Francis Ngannou can punch stronger, and he just show he can box as well. And that was, I think, big day for MMA. Definitely.
I don't think I've quite got over it yet. Like, I was in the same boat as you, where I thought, right, Francis Ngannou is going to be a worse Deontay Wilder. That was the only thing I could imagine. So Tyson Fury's clearly just going to walk through him. It'll be over within 2 rounds. Then the third
Yeah.
round, Ngannou drops him, and I still don't know how I was wrong. Like, I don't. It doesn't make sense yet.
It's hard to understand, but like, and then I think in another way as well is like I think his styles make much. I think Ngannou gonna do a lot worse with Anthony Joshua than with Tyson Fury. It's just the style the Anthony Joshua fights. I think will be more not as good like Tyson fights when he's fight with Ngannou. So I think you can't say now, oh, Ngannou go smash Anthony Joshua. I don't think so. That's the case. I just think Tyson Fury style wasn't good for Ngannou to show up really well. I think like Wilder and Anthony Joshua will do a lot better than Tyson Fury against Ngannou. So it's like, but same in MMA. You can't
Yeah,
mix and match. It's like styles make fights, and I think this style was really good timing for Ngannou to fight Tyson Fury.
yeah, and he's meant to be fighting Usyk next month. Like,
But I think that's cancelled, isn't it?
yeah, they basically said, yeah, it's not going to happen now. Like, Tyson looks pretty beat up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just for we end here, I've got a habit of asking people, who are some of your favourite fighters? Like, who was it that sort of inspired you to get into MMA? Who do you like to watch?
If like who's inspired me to get in MMA is I always saying is kickboxer Badr Hari. Like
Oh, I love Madar.
I was a massive fan when I was little. I was watching his videos on the YouTube. Obviously, in MMA is more Fedor Emelianenko and Kimbo Slice. I watch all the yard fights. When I was about 10 year old, I'm sitting in a YouTube and watching all day. They're just fighting videos. So that's what's kind of pushed me in there. And obviously, when I come to England, 23-year young. I didn't know what to do, so I know I need to do something just to not stuck in the house. So I start training. Like I told you before, I never expect I'm gonna be professional fighter, but I know something in me, but make me feel like I can do it. So I just keep grinding every day, and years by years, I start training even harder and harder, and I understand I got all the abilities to be the best fighter in Europe. And if the timing was right, truly believe I could be in the world as well. But it is what it is. I find the sport a little bit late, but I'm still happy about my journey, and I can't wait to see where it's bringing me now.
And it's pretty good that, like, even if you aren't going to the UFC, you've came in MMA at a time where the UFC isn't the only gig in town. KSW and Cage Warriors and stuff are still like massive, have global audiences. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's alternatives. Like, Fedor never went to the UFC and still had a career that was worth
Yeah,
remembering. Do
exactly,
you know
and
what I mean? Like,
that's what we was just talking. What KSW doing. You gonna see in Poland a lot bigger stars than some guys in UFC. So that's not the case anyway. It's just I'm like I say, I'm happy heading that way, and I will try win the over Polish fans to like me and watch me fight. So it will be
yeah,
cool.
exactly. Well, KSW 8 to 9, which is obviously the card you make your debut on, you've got Marcin Held, who was obviously a UFC fighter for a long time. I think he fought for the PFL and stuff like that, but KSW are still putting out sort of better offers and bigger events than a lot of these companies that you might think about. Bellator has obviously just been bought over. Did you see that?
Yeah. And like I say, and that's the card who I fight, where I fight in 16th of December. They say that's the biggest card this year for KSW. So I'm happy to be part of it. So it's just awesome.
Yep. So that's basically all we've got time for. I just want to thank you again for coming on. Hopefully, be able to get you back on after the fight and you can brag about how great KSW was.
Oh yeah, definitely, mate. Just anytime, just let me know and we'll sort times out. And thanks for having me anyway. And then just tag me in when you're posting something. And thank you.
Nice one.